folks, here we are. It is the 9th of March, and we're at the Pathfinder Community Center here. And tonight there's supposed to be a gala affair, and you can possibly see up front there. We'll take a little look up there. You can see the guy with that big camera. Yeah, that's supposed to be Channel 5 up there, because they're going to be talking about data centers. Here that the City of Industry wants to put up, and as well as the BESS battery storage situation. And we have the camera plugged in, make sure we're charging up here. Nope. Did you walk in front of my camera? Did you see that guy walk in front of my camera? Okay, so we're just going to take a little scan around. They got some good eats over there, coffee and cookies and cinnamon rolls over there. Look at all the people. It says, welcome to the community center up there. Let's zoom in a little bit. You can see that. Okay. Going around a gala affair. Okay. And it's supposed to start at 7 o'clock. We're a little bit early. It's the Rowland Heights Community Coordinating Council put on the festivities tonight. And we got them all turned out. What's going on? So, okay, we have a little movement there. Tighten down things. Back out a little bit there. And the big guy's got his camera. Okay, then we're gonna pause a little bit because it's just people coming in. See, they're all around here getting out more chairs, people in the back. Okay. We're going to put on a little pause here. Okay, they already broke the coffee maker over there. And you know, it's one of those Keurig ones, and the blue lights don't come on when you put the thing in there. And, okay. It is what it is. Standing room only. Check it out. They open some doors over to get some air, and they got more people coming. That's David Martinez over there. They booked poor Dave's name, talking to somebody with a tie. That would be important. Dust to settle. Okay, we may run into a problem here because we're supposed to have a capacity of 200 here. And it looks like we're going to be in meeting capacity. I've got the sheriff here in case these old folks get out of hand.
Okay, if we can get everybody to start trying to get a seat or get in the building. We have a lot of speakers today and a very apparently popular issue. So we want to get to that, but we want to get to our regular program first, and then we'll get to our keynote speaker. So a couple of things to our community partners that are here today, LA County Sheriffs, Hiway Patrol, Supervisor Solis, all our county reps. If when you give your presentation, you can make it brief, and should you have questions, if you could please ask to take those questions outside so that we don't tie up the next community partner that's going to speak. So we want to keep it flowing. So we do want to hear your concerns on the various speakers, but we want to keep it brief so that we can get to our keynote speaker, and that's on the BESS, which is the battery energy storage system, and the data centers. So I know everyone's here to get to that, but we have to do our community partners first. So if they can be brief, and if you have any questions for them, you can take it outside and they will answer any of your questions. We really do want you to be able to ask whatever you need to ask, okay? And I've gotten a couple of questions about petitions. We, as the Rowland Heights Community Coordinating Council, are not here. We do not have any petitions that we're asking you to sign. So if you are approached, it is not coming from the Rowland Heights Community Coordinating Council. Somebody is asking you to sign a petition, you need to read it carefully and you need to decide for yourselves whether you want to participate in that. Again, it is not coming from the Rowland Heights Community Coordinating Council. Okay? So that's the, to answer the question on petitions. Okay. I think we're ready to start. Brandon, are we live? Okay, we are live. So, I see so many of you here today, and I thank you for coming. We always start our meetings here the second Monday of every month. We are here, so when you want to have an issue to discuss or any questions, please feel free not to come to just today, but you can come to the following months to come. We always start our meetings by saying the flag salute. So if you would please stand. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Let me start by saying welcome to the Rowland Heights Community Coordinating Council. My name is Yvette Romo, and I am the president of this organization. I have an executive board. Brandon Macias, to my left, is our first vice president in charge of programs. We have, right here to my right, Kim De La Peza. She is our second vice president in charge of community relations. We have Maria Kramer, busy at the sign-in table. She is in charge of memberships. We have Charles Rivera, who is also at the membership table, and he is our corresponding secretary. Thank you and welcome. We are going to start. For those of you who do not know what the Community Coordinating Council is, we are an organization made up of Rowland Heights residents, government representatives, and community groups that meet and discuss community concerns and explore possible solutions. So we encourage everybody to come and help support us and get things that we need done in our community. You can look around and you can see we are a diverse community and we work well together. And we need to continue to work well together on issues that tend to divide us, to hurt our community, to invade our environment. So we need your voice, not just today, but every month, to come and help support us. We're going to start with our first community partner, which is from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Deputy Ray. We are going to ask you to come away from the door and perhaps move and fill up the back portion first, because when you're talking here on the side, it affects the mic here and affects our speakers. So if you could kind of move once you sign in towards the back and fill up the back section. Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Deputy Ray. I've been with Walnut Sheriff Station for about 4 years. I'm taking over Deputy Denver spot if you don't know me. I'm just going to go through, make this one pretty quick because I know you guys have more pressing issues to get to tonight. I was going to go over all the crime stats, but basically in the unincorporated areas, crime is down 22%. So, good job. The community effort. Something to let you guys know about, there has been an increase in Romanian burglary crews. If you guys are letting people into your house, if you don't know them, don't let them in your house. They had an incident earlier in the month where an elderly woman let a couple people into her house to use the restroom. One of them distracted her and the other one was looking for a key. So be careful who you let in your house. If you don't know them, don't let them in your house. First Amendment auditors, that's been big lately in Diamond Bar. In the past 10 days, there's been about 3 instances. They are going viral from your guys' reactions. So if you guys encounter them and they are in public area, they are allowed to film. They do not need your consent to film. Walk right by and continue with your business, because the second you start giving them ammunition, they're gonna post it and you'll be Instagram famous. And then I'm gonna start a coffee with a cop here in Rowland Heights. I know it's been a while. I heard there's a pretty big want for a coffee with a cop, so look for that in the near future. Anybody have questions? All right.
Thank you very much, Deputy Ray. We're going to have the LA County Parking Enforcement, and I think we have Catherine. Catherine Vance will be here.
Good evening, everyone. Just real quick, I brought some stats for to show the amount of citations issued by in the unincorporated area from our parking enforcement officers from the station, Walnut Station. It's a total of 682. My apologies, it cut off at the bottom. I also brought some pamphlets. Within this pamphlet, it gives the email address on how to contact us. If you have an ongoing parking issue, that's the best way to contact us. If you have an emergent issue, please contact the station and have a call for service dispatch so that they can send a parking enforcement officer. And if there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to take them outside. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. I did not see there he is. The California Highway Patrol, Officer O'Toole is here with us. Maybe it's Officer Ruiz.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Officer Sonia Guzman with the California Highway Patrol out of the Santa Fe Springs area office. Officer Limon and Officer O'Toole. The only thing we have for you today are statistics on crashes. In January, the unincorporated area, we handled about 41 crashes. In February, we handled 20. So that's about half, right? So there was a decrease of about 50% in those crashes. As of to date, we have only 3 crashes reported for March, but it's still the beginning of the month. So sadly, yes, we do expect a few more. We just remind everybody to take their time, right, getting to where they need to be, to avoid speeding, pay attention, no cell phones, right? That's a big contribution to these crashes. The only real update we have for our area is that we have 5 new officers that started training with us. So what that means for the community is more officers means more patrol, less crashes, more enforcement. A lot of our motor officers are still doing LiDAR, radar on Pathfinder. Just last week, they actually stopped a Ferrari going about 80 miles per hour. So they're still really working hard to reduce that speed on Pathfinder. And that's all we have.
Mike. Thank you so much. The Office of First District Supervisor Hilda Solis. We have Field Representative Andrea Moreno. No, please, we need to be respectful of our community partners. I appreciate your passion, but we need to be respectful to our speakers.
Thank you so much, Yvette. Hi, good evening, everyone. So as you heard, we have a lightning round today. I won't be able to take any questions from you. But once again, my name is Andrea Moreno. I'm here representing Supervisor Hilda Solis. She represents the 1st District in Los Angeles County, and in particular, she represents the unincorporated communities of Rowland Heights, Hacienda Heights, Avocado Heights, and neighboring unincorporated communities. So before I get started with my lightning round, I'd like to see a show of hands. Who here is a resident of Rowland Heights? All right, give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah, Rowland Heights, because that is where we are today. We are in Rowland Heights. Who here is a resident of Hacienda Heights? Wow, all right, so we have a lot of neighbors here from Hacienda Heights. Thank you for being here. How about from our neighboring cities? Walnut, the city of La Puente, Diamond Bar. Okay, so we have really good neighbors here. I see a lot of people that live nearby. A lot of the concerns that are going to be spoken about tonight. But before we get there, I do have several announcements to make. So the first is that tomorrow night, our Department of Public Works, so LA County Department of Public Works, is going to have a meeting about the Near Bank project. How many people know where Near Bank Street is? All right, we have a couple of people. Thank you. So there is a big project coming your way, and the Department of Public Works wants to hear your thoughts on the resurfacing. This is very important because it's going to affect some trees, it's going to affect some streets, and it's going to affect some parking. So please join tomorrow night. I have more information. James, where are you? I saw you here. James, okay, James, he's with the Department of Public Works, and he is going to be able to give you detailed information about that meeting. That's tomorrow, Tuesday night. On Wednesday, 3/11, there are two important community meetings that you should know about. The first is a Public Works Zone 43 meeting. So if you live in Zone 43, and those of you that do know who you are because you received a letter from the Department of Public Works, there is currently a landscaping maintenance district here in the community of Rowland Heights. It's been a very long time since anything was updated for this particular maintenance district. So if you are a neighbor of this community, I urge you to join the meeting on March 11th, which is the evening, this Wednesday. And the supervisor is wanting to help the neighbors offset some costs. So please, again, join to hear more and how we can keep our community beautiful and well-maintained when it comes to landscape. Next, I want to talk about next Monday. So here at this very room, our Department of Economic Opportunity, the county's Department of Economic Opportunity, is going to be hosting a workshop that is going to be translated into different languages. I don't know if any of you have heard about the state law for MICOs. These are the Micro Enterprise Home Kitchens. This is a way that we provide local residents an opportunity to make money because maybe they're stuck at home, maybe they're a single mom, but they know how to bake great cupcakes. And this opportunity, again, is called MICOs, and we're going to have a workshop here at the Rowland Heights Community Center on Monday, March 16, to talk more about how you can get involved and how you can make a little bit of extra cash to help your family. the the Department of Parks and Recreation is going to come up. They have a very exciting announcement. Our office has been working tirelessly with the department to bring pickleball to this area. So again, we're very, very excited about this announcement, but I won't take it away from Parks to give you the full details. In terms of, there is another meeting here on Wednesday. Have you guys heard about Mountainview? I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the project. The new housing project. Mountain View Construction. So they will be having a meeting here on Wednesday night as well. So if you're not part of Zone 43, you might want to come by and share your concerns, your questions with a developer who's going to be here on Wednesday night, also in this very room. So I know I just said a lot. I'm sorry I can't stay to talk more to you about some of the other projects that we have going on, but it is a lightning round. So here you go. Back to Yvette.
Thank you, thank you. That project that she's talking about Wednesday, and I hope we could fill this room again on Wednesday, is another housing project that they want to put at the Royal Vista Golf Course. They've already approved one housing project for 540 some odd housing, triplexes and duplexes. That's over another 1,000 cars on our Colima Road. Anybody who lives here in Rowland Heights knows the traffic on Colima Road. So that's another 1,000 cars. Sunjoint, the project that wants to put in 1,900, yes, I say again, 1,900 apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and some single-family homes. We're talking another 2,000 to 3,000 cars on our roads. Rowland Heights does not have the infrastructure to support that many housing projects here. So we need you to come back here Wednesday and let these contractors know, go find someplace else to build. We don't have the capacity for it. Next that's going to speak is from the Senator Archuleta's office. Yeah, he's butting in, Craig. Daniel Andalon.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Andalon. I am here representing the Office of Senator Bob Archuleta. As with any regional issue, we try to monitor and work closely with our municipal counterparts in the county's office, particularly in unincorporated areas of Los Angeles County. The Senator understands that there are grave concerns on some of the issues that are going to be discussed tonight. So we're here to be part of the conversation, to encourage you to continue to stay engaged as these potential environmental and infrastructure projects come to your community. We want to be engaged as much as possible. So our office is available. I have my information with me if you'd like to connect to discuss the issues further and talk about the concerns that you have here in this community. So again, my name is Daniel Andalon. I'm here on behalf of your Senator Bob Archuleta, and I hope to speak with you in the near future. Thank you again for your time. Yvette, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Now we'll have the LA County Parks and Recreation. I believe it's Craig coming up.
How's everybody doing today? My name is Craig Newman. I'm the manager of this facility and over all the parks in the Rowland Heights area. So we have a couple updates that we'll keep brief for you. As you know, we're moving into spring, so we'll be having a lot of our Easter egg hunts and other spring activities happen for those of you who have young ones or you're just young at heart and you want to relive your good old days at Easter egg hunt with us. We will have our Easter egg hunt here at this facility in Carolyn Rosas on March 19th from 4 to 7 p.m., which is a Thursday. And then we'll also have one at Rowland Heights Park, which is March 20th, which is a Friday from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. Also, 2 weeks from now, we have our Cesar Chavez event at Carolyn Rosas Park, which will take place Wednesday, March 25th from 5 to 8 p.m. Also, we have a lot of good senior events here. We have a good, strong senior program. So if anybody is interested, they could come and join some of our senior program. We have a lot of interesting classes, fitness classes, dance classes, and we also take a lot of seniors on field trips. So in the past, we've taken them to like Dodger Stadium. We've taken them to the Hollywood Bowl. Just last week, we took some seniors to the movies. Next month, it is the Olive Garden, and I think the month after that, we're going to be going to the Aquarium of the Pacific. So if you guys are interested, just come to the front desk, and we'll help you guys out. As Andrea mentioned earlier, one of the big things that we're happy about is pickleball. We'll be getting our pickleball courts, which will be at Pathfinder Park, which is the upper level of the park. I see some strong clapping, so I need you're probably part of the pickleball community here. I would like to thank them because for many years, as they'll tell you, they've been trying to get pickleball courts here, and it kind of shows with community persistence, mountains can be moved, and which they have because they have faced a lot of roadblocks. But just last week, we've just begun the breaking of the concrete up at Pathfinder Park to put in the 2 permanent pickleball courts. And hopefully, we're trying to have them completed by September is roughly the date. But please don't quote me on September because you know how that is. But if there's any other questions, you guys could ask me later away from the meeting so we could move forward. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you very much, Craig. I believe the Office of Assemblywoman Lisa Calderon, field rep, is not here today, so we'll move on to the LA County Library, and I believe that's Shumin Zong. Is she here? She probably can't find a parking space there, so if she comes later, we'll get her on. We'll move on to Mount San Antonio College. And Joe Dominguez.
Well, good evening. On behalf of Mount SAC and Trustee Chen Haggerty, sends her regrets. She had a family loss. Her father, Shinfa Chen, passed on February 27th at 103. So please keep her in your thoughts and prayers. In his memory, we established a memorial fund through the Mount SAC Foundation to support Mount San Antonio College students experiencing food insecurity. And so you can visit us at mountsacfoundation.org if you would like to support. In addition, Mount SAC is providing the community support for our VITA program, which offers free tax help for the community. Last year we had 653 tax returns prepared. We assist with 1040, 1040A, and 1040EZ, our earned income tax credit and virtual currency transactions. So if you have friends or neighbors that could take advantage of this program, please send them our way. Services are offered in English, Spanish, and Mandarin, and no appointment is required, and walk-ins are welcome. So come to Mount SAC Campus Building 79. And another announcement, I know sometimes we're looking for family-friendly events, so our planetarium is providing shows on March 20th. We Choose Space, Hubble Vision 2, and Deep Space. The cost is $4 for adults and $1 for seniors, and open to the community. Also like to commend and congratulate our community members who voted for Measure V. We are moving forward and building a new library at Mount SAC, and then our new Tech and Health building at the campus as well. So thank you to everyone. In addition, we completed our accreditation, and Mount SAC has proven to the state that we have an academic quality, integrity, institutional effectiveness, and governance, and our accreditation is good to 2031. So give everyone a round of applause. Thank you for your support. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much. And now from the Rowland Unified School District, Brian Huff.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Huff. I'm the Assistant Superintendent in Rowland Unified School District. And on behalf of the Board of Education and Superintendent Flores, I'd like to share just three exciting things that have happened this week in our school district, and also 3 events that you're all welcome to attend this week as well. So first of all, we just returned from up in Northern California. Rorimer Elementary School, one of our dual language immersion schools, was recognized as one of the top 4 dual language schools in California, so we're excited about that. This past Saturday, the Rowland High School basketball team made history by advancing to the CIF state regional semifinals. So congratulations to our Rowland High School boys basketball team. Tonight, I encourage you to check out Channel 2 and Channel 9. They're going to recognize not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Nogales High School students that won the prestigious Questbridge College Match Scholarship, which pays for everything for undergraduate up to graduate, PhD, whatever they want to do, totaling $1.6 million. So, very proud of those students. And then finally, our Rowland High School academic decathlon team competed and earned 2nd in their Super Quiz event. 19 individual medals across academic events, and then overall finished 3rd in their division at the LA County competition. So we're very proud of them as well. And finally, I just want to share with you 3 things this week. If you would like to come participate, on Wednesday night, we have our annual community feedback for Rowland families. So if you have a child in the Rowland schools, we invite you to come to Rowland High School this Wednesday. At 6 o'clock, we will feed you dinner. There's childcare as well. And it's our annual process of just listening to what's working and how we can continue to improve our services for the students and the families. Second, our Nogales High School Drama Company is going to be performing Grease this week. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night at the Performing Arts Center in Rowland Unified. Please come on out, support the community, the drama company there. Starts at 7 o'clock this Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. And then finally, if you have a child that's between ages 3 to 5, we're going to invite you to our very exciting annual event called Kinderfest that will be at the district office this Saturday at 9 a.m. Bring out your child. They can get a sense of what it's like to be in kindergarten. They can experience a mock classroom. We have a little cafeteria set up. They get the food. The adults don't get the food, but the kids get the food. There will be lots of fun and games. There'll be face painting. So if you have any friends in the community that have children that are ages 3 to 5, please come on out this Saturday at 9 o'clock, the district office, for our annual Kinderfest. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And Shumin Song finally found a parking space, so she's here and she's from the LA County Libraries.
Thank you, everyone. What a crowd. I don't think I've ever seen this room this packed. My name is Shumin. I'm the Community Library Manager at Rowland Heights Library. We're on Colima and Nogales, so very close to here if you haven't already visited us. I'm here to share just 2 simple updates. I'll keep it really quick. Through a grant, the library is now providing free small group tutoring to help students in grades 1 to 6 to improve their reading and math skills. So it's a rolling grant, so we're hoping it comes back in the summer as well as in the fall if you don't get a chance to participate this spring. And the tutors complete a pre and post assessment, and so the tutoring really is tailored to each child. We're also thrilled to bring back our homework center where students in grades 1 to 12 can drop in and receive homework help from a dedicated tutor. And for students who can't make it to the library, we're also online. So our online service called BrainFuse can connect tutors in helping a variety of subjects from math, English, science, English, history, etc. And they can receive help in English, Spanish, and in Chinese. And the library continues to offer a variety of activities for customers of all ages, and I wanted to highlight a few for adults. So we're partnering with the Department of Mental Health to host monthly wellness workshops This month we are focusing on depression and anxiety and talking about coping mechanisms. That one will be hosted in Chinese. For the month of May, we're talking about good sleep, English and Chinese. And then for the month of June, we're talking about how to handle medication safely, and that's also in English and Chinese. Our adult librarian planned 2 art-based programs for adults with developmental disabilities, so they can come on in and have a welcoming space to do art with their coaches, with their peers. And for our crafters, we are hosting our Fiber Arts Fridays twice a month, where participants can come, be in a space with other crafters and be inspired. And in honor of Cesar Chavez Day, we're also hosting a screening of the documentary A Song for Caesar. I brought along our March and April calendars, but you can find all of these program information on our website. Just Google Rowland Heights Library. It's the first one that pops up. So if you have any questions, I'm here till the end, hopefully. But you can always visit us at the library. Thank you so much.
All right. I think we got all our community partners done, and we're a little ahead of schedule. I think that's the fastest we've gone through them. So we're going to start with our keynote speaker, and he's going to give us some community information on BESS, which stands for Battery Energy Storage System, and that was already passed by the City of Industry last month. Yes, I was there. I spoke. One of my first VPs, Kim De La Peza, also spoke, and it was a done deal before we even got there. And I know it's hard for the people that are outside, so if we can get some of these people to kind of mosey on to this side so that you're in the building. If you're in the building, you could probably hear. And we got a lot of people outside the building. So if we can come on through this side, and then we can get everybody to hear what's going on. We also have, when we were there and they passed the BESS, we asked the question, what about data center? And they said they had no plans for a data center, that it wasn't even on their agenda. It wasn't even on their coming issues. And then the next week, there was talk of the data center at Industry. So we have speaker Samuel Brown, and he's going to give a brief introduction on exactly what these centers are, and then hopefully get you to get clear information, and then you have the opportunity to ask questions. We also have, I believe, the LA County Fire Department here somewhere, and I believe they will speak as well. I see them in the back. Okay, so Samuel, are you ready?
Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you everybody, I really appreciate it. This is a very important issue. It's a very important issue, and it affects our entire community, and it's really important that we rally together and find a way to resolve our concerns. So, go back. So what we're looking at right now is 3 pending data centers in City of Industry, plus a battery energy storage system. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that is, but this is not abstract, this is not vague, this is actually moving forward or has already been approved by the City of Industry, and it warrants our consideration and our examination. Okay, so, obviously we're all familiar with, batteries. We all know what batteries are, our regular Duracell batteries and lithium batteries. But when we're talking about the battery energy storage system, we're talking about lithium ion batteries. These are the renewable batteries that exist, right? So, we have our common batteries, and when we're looking at the lithium ion batteries, we're talking about 18650 cylindrical cells. The most common ones are, the 1000s, but the 18650s is what's being used. And they are something that is lined up, and they have to be organized in a very specific way because of the amount of energy consumption that they have. And, go ahead. So you can see the cylindrical cells, prismatic cells, pouch cells, 2170s. But the 18650s, like I mentioned, are the most common ones, and that's what's primarily comprised in the battery energy storage system. You can see the difference in sizes, right? And so when you have a lithium-ion battery fire, right, you have extremely toxic atmospheres that are created. So the project that was approved, the Marichi project on Gale and Stimson, across the street from a Korean church, it's a 10-acre facility filled with these types of batteries. And the most important concern is that you could have a thermal runaway reaction. So when Moss Landing, which was a battery energy storage system in Monterey Peninsula, was burning, it burned for 5 days because of this very phenomenon. And it warrants, that during the entitlement and during the approval, it warrants that we are able to be given guarantees that this is not going to impact our community, right? And it could really create a lot of issues for nearby residents, right? This is what a battery energy storage system looks like. And this is why the union representing the fire department came out against the battery energy storage system. But I think it's important to know for everybody that's here is that they didn't just approve a project for a battery energy storage system. They changed the zoning code. The zoning code allows them essentially on 70% of City of Industry to put a battery energy storage in the system, battery energy storage system, to build it. And so the concern that we have is whether this is something that is going to lead to a proliferation of these types of development projects, and whether the lack of safeguards and regulations for our communities, right, and we're all impacted, whether it's sufficient to protect our public health and the impacts to the environment, right? So just to review again, when there is a fire in a battery energy storage system, you're gonna have a large evacuation, you're gonna have, hazardous materials is gonna be present. This is considered, one of the most dangerous, most disruptive fires that can possibly happen. Cyanide and all kinds of toxic gases are released during these fires. And, the communities, are not just going to be impacted, but it might impact your property values. It might impact your ability to relocate afterwards because of the toxins that are released. And this is true with the Moss fire that happened in Monterey Peninsula. So the one that they were trying to that they approved, the Marichi Battery Energy Storage System. This is a map right across the street where there's the empty lot. It used to be Glen Elder Elementary School. Now it's Lennar Homes. It's about 100, a little bit less than 100 condos that are there. But you have this Korean church that's there with a child development center. On the corner of Gale and Stimson, you have a gas station, right? Just below the gas station, actually north, you have the firefighter station 43, which is one of the fire stations that the union representing those firefighters came out against the project. And what we saw is that this went in front of City of Industry, and City of Industry had to decide to consider the comments that we submitted during public comment regarding our concerns and whether they were going to clear the entitlement or not without addressing our concerns. The problem there is that it was a mitigated negative declaration instead of a full environmental impact report. At minimum, our community deserves an environmental impact report, which is the most comprehensive, environmental review process. The reason we deserve an environmental impact report is because the environmental impact report requires the analysis of cumulative environmental impacts. For everybody that's here in this room that lives adjacent to City of Industry, it's not a mystery that we live near warehouses, that we have increased semis driving through our neighborhoods, that we have air emissions that are potentially hazardous to some of us, because of the different types of facilities operating there. But when you do a substandard environmental review, like the mitigated negative declaration, it deprives us of them responding to the concerns, legitimate concerns that we raise. And so the other problem here is that this is being done under the cloak of night. We have a scenario where City of Industry is doing these decisions as special planning meetings, special city council meetings, right? What's a special meeting? A special meeting is when you're given 24-hour notice, right? So in the instance of the battery energy storage system, Marici, right? We were given 24 hours to review 6,500 pages. Were they translated into Mandarin, Cantonese, Spanish, Vietnamese? No, they were not. Given the demographics of this region and the communities that live surrounding there, you would expect at minimum that we would have the notice translated. However, when we raised these issues at the meeting, they said we're not obligated to translate for any of you, given our demographics, right? So the Marici battery energy storage system, it's a 400 megawatt project. It's a 9.2 acre redevelopment. You can see where it's going to be built. And they already approved it. And in addition to approving it, they did it along with the zoning change. So that means that there's a potential for more of these projects. And what I want to say about that is that, I know people that live across the street and near what used to be the Glen Alder or the Lennar, housing development. And all of those people showed up and spoke. And if you try to look at a record of that meeting, there is no record. City of Industry does not record their meetings. They do not live stream their meetings, and they do not provide those meetings or a record of those meetings. They don't even provide an audio, right? So it's almost like we didn't exist, right? It's almost like we didn't exist. It's almost like our comments were in vain. But there's something more concerning. You try to look at the minutes of that meeting, there's no minutes that have been uploaded to the City of Industry website. As a matter of fact, there's been no minutes that have been uploaded since the summer of last year, right? So we have decisions that are being made, but we have no record to base those decisions off of because we don't even know who's on the Planning Commission. We don't know who submitted the application to be on the Planning Commission. We don't know whether they're qualified to be on the Planning Commission. We don't even know if they live in City of Industry, and yet these decisions impact us, right? You can go ahead. Okay, but I want to share this message of hope, is that there is a way to address these issues. Because if you look at what's happened in Monterey Park, and real quick, shout out to Monterey Park and the organizers there. They've shown us it is possible. Monterey Park said, nope, you're not going to build a data center. You're not going to purchase another property to build an even larger data center without going to the voters, because the voters deserve a chance to make these decisions. I was there at the meeting where they got the city council to respond to the concerns that they had raised. And I just want to say it was a very great moment because we saw people of all different backgrounds, different ages, show up. They spoke at length, and you know what? The city council heard and listened to them. And that is why we live in a democracy. That is why I'm presenting here tonight, because the public has a right to know, right? That same day that City of Industry approved the battery energy storage system, some of us went to Bassett Unified School District. And when we went to Bassett Unified School District, we asked that the school board place on the agenda a resolution to object to any zoning change for data centers that does not conduct a full environmental impact report. Because Bassett Unified School District has students that are within the impacted area, but also because the water that one of the schools gets in Bassett Unified School District, which is Don Julian Elementary and Middle School, that school gets water from City of Industry, from the industry public utilities. And if they build a data center, these data centers on average can use 1 million gallons of water, somewhere between 500,000 gallons to 5 million gallons of water per day. So think about per day, that's per day. So think about the impact to a school district, right? Which is, coming out of some financial issues. And for them all of a sudden to have to pay this influx of additional money for water because City of Industry decided to build data centers. But they didn't reach out to the Bassett Unified School District. They didn't reach out to Rowland Unified School District. They didn't reach out to Walnut Valley Unified School District. They didn't reach out to Hacienda La Puente Unified School District. They didn't reach out to the city of La Puente. They didn't reach out to the city of Walnut. They didn't reach out to the city of Diamond Bar. They didn't reach out to the city of West Covina, the city of Covina, and all the unincorporated areas, right? What about the water agencies? What about Rowland Water District? What about the La Puente County Valley Water District? What about suburban water? Where is their input on this issue, right? Well, City of Industry thinks that they don't have to do it, and that's a concern. So the reason I share this is because we preemptively tried to get our local agency, school district in this case, to pass a resolution requesting comment from City of Industry and making a record of their discontent. And if we all did this in our communities, maybe the conversation with City of Industry would be a little bit different, right? And of course, the Puente Hills Mall, right? How many people remember the Puente Hills Mall, going there? How many people went on dates to the Puente Hills Mall? How many people, went to round one and all that stuff? This is the Back to the Future Mall, right? This is the famous Puente Hills Mall of our community. And when it was built, it was one of the most exciting places to be. Yes. And a lot of people say, well, it's dead, it's empty, it's already done. That's because the developer or the owners allowed it to die, right? They allowed it to go empty. They allowed it to go empty. They just let all the businesses go away, impacting the local economic activity in that area. Colima and Azusa is a very important commercial centers, for our communities. It's a very important destination for people's important source of jobs. It's an important transportation hub. And what happens is that City of Industry, this is not a theory, this is 100%, is moving forward with building a 10 megawatt battery and data center. And so that data center, they're saying it's an edge, a small edge data center. This is enough energy to power 40,000 homes, right? A small edge data center is a 5 megawatt. Anything between 5 and 20 megawatts is considered a medium-sized data center. But the problem here is that this is not the only data center in City of Industry. This is one of 3 actively underway being pursued. And if we're looking at the water consumption of one data center, around 1 million gallons of water per day, then what are we gonna do when 3 are built, right? What are we gonna do when the battery energy storage system catches fire? These are all questions that need to be answered, and they don't need to be conducted at 9 a.m. during the weekday with 24-hour notice, where we are expected to read 6,500 pages of documents or no documents at all because City of Industry believes that they're exempt from conducting an environmental impact review. So the Puente Hills Mall, everybody was expecting for housing to be built there. And we all thought that it was going to be a massive redevelopment like the Americana, the Glendale Galleria, right? The Santa Monica Promenade, right? These are all successful malls, right? Malls have to change. However, what we're noticing is that City of Industry, because it's a population of 300 that hasn't had an election since 2016, since one election since 2016. In the last 20, 25 years, they've only had one election. And why is that? Because they don't have anybody that runs against them. And because they don't have anybody that runs against them, they just appoint themselves to another 4-year term. Right? And because, well, yes, there's not a lot of, and mind you, 300 people that live there, a third of them live in the convalescent home known as El Encanto, right? So, you know, you have to ask yourself what's really happening there. City of Industry doesn't want housing because that means that, you know, an extra 5,000 people would be in their city. That means that those people would potentially challenge the city council and they would actually have to start having elections. I think that's a crime. How is that legal, right? We gotta ask ourselves that. This is a public records request that we submitted, and this is internal records showing that they're gonna do, you know, they're trying to change the zoning on this specific site from commercial to industrial commercial overlay, right, on the 75 acres. And then right there, it clearly says data center, right? And that's the developer that's trying to do it. There's another data center that they want to do at what used to be a middle school in El Monte. And it's right next to the San Gabriel River, where Garvey meets the 10. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that. But that is going to be a huge project. And there's a lot of concerns. It's a 17 to 27 acre project. And they're looking at like somewhere in the vicinity of 500,000 square feet warehouse data center, right? Once again, where's the water gonna come from for this project? It's right there. Here's another map just so you can take a look at it. And keep in mind, that parcel is partially City of Industry. The other part of it is the City of El Monte, right? And so the part that is City of Industry is what allows City of Industry to dictate the land use planning, zoning designation for that parcel. But it's right next to our San Gabriel River. The San Gabriel River is the source of 80% of our drinking water. I'm not exactly confident that having a data center there is the best for our drinking water. And I would raise that question and ask that our local surrounding municipalities take an opinion on that. And then there's the other project, which is the Industry Business Center. This is right there on Grand Avenue. And you can see that the landlord is Majestic Realty. For those of you that don't know, Majestic Realty is a large commercial warehouse company. It's the largest in the United States, potentially in the world. And they own 35% of all the warehouses in City of Industry. And they have a very close working relationship with the city council there. And so you can see through the internal communications that the city staff is really working to try to streamline the approval of these projects for their, large, businesses operating within the city. But we have to really question whether Majestic Realty has our best interest at heart, right? Majestic Realty, the owner, Ed Roski, his net worth is $9 billion. Majestic Realty is, producing about $1 billion every year, right? I'm pretty sure they don't live in City of Industry, right? Yes, they are the same ones that were behind a proposed football stadium. But the impacts of these decisions don't just stay in City of Industry. And that's why we're here today, because we need to have additional oversight of this city. If they're gonna build something and it impacts us, guess what? We should be able to have a say. For far too long, City of Industry has relied upon the fact that we are a large immigrant community. But that needs to change now, because we need this material to be translated into the languages we speak at home. And we need to work together to make sure that we have a larger voice and that we are looking out for our safeguards on public health and the impacts to the environment. Because between 2021 and 2025, I as a customer of Industry Public Utilities Waterworks System, which is the water utility company from City of Industry, that is my provider of water, I had a rate hike as a customer, and the rate hike, was due to the drought. We did have some rains this past season, but certainly we're not out of the clear when it comes to water consumption. And to allow these data centers to absorb 1 million gallons of water per day, right? It's unfair to us. And it's unfair to us because I already had an increase in my fares. Next year, the Department of Sanitation for LA County is trying to implement an increase for the people that receive the services of the sanitation county. 40% increase in the fees. Suburban Water is also trying to do an increase of around 40% over the next 3 years. So this impacts us, right? And I have to ask myself, is it because the utility agencies already know what's coming down the pipeline? And here you have the assistant city manager who was interviewed in an article by Investigate LA. It's a Center for Investigative Journalism based out of LA. It's a new upstart. They've been doing really good coverage. And when interviewed, Sam Pedrosa, the assistant city manager, said, data centers don't fit our model. Data centers don't bring jobs, but data centers are driven by the market. And where else do you put them, right? So essentially, what he's trying to say, and this reminds me of what a friend of mine, Marilyn Kamimura, who's here somewhere in the audience, she had attended a meeting with the Department of Sanitation, and there was this proposal to have this, large, trash sorting facility, and they were gonna use the rails to, distribute the trash and to pick up the trash. And one of the people that was on the commission says, oh, yeah, we could just put it right there because that's where all the trash goes. That's where all the trash lives, right? And she was a resident of North Whittier, and she says, I'm sorry, I live there. I live there. That's not where all the trash lives, right? That's not where you put the trash. You ask us first, right? In this case, he says, it's not our model, but where else are you gonna put it? That's not our burden to find out where you're gonna put it, right? We shouldn't be impacted. It shouldn't be our burden to find out where you're gonna put the data centers. If we don't want it, don't build it. Simple as that, right? If we don't want it, don't build it. So I want you guys to take a look at this map. This is a map of City of Industry. Everything that's purple is where you can now build data centers. Everything that's purple is where you can now build battery energy storage systems. And I want you to look at every community that lives around there. And I'm just going to propose to everybody here. Maybe in the past, we were not united. But given the magnitude of what's happening and its impacts on our communities, that has to change. So, if you're a resident of Rowland Heights, raise your hand. If you're a resident of Walnut, of Diamond Bar, of Chino Hills, of Pomona, of Baldwin Park, of El Monte, of Hacienda Heights, of Avocado Heights, of Bassett, La Puente, West Covina, Covina, right? South San Jose Hills, Valinda, right? West Puente Valley, North Whittier, Hacienda Heights. We all need to work together, right? City of Industry is a city that has $1 billion in reserves, right? By that measure, if you're looking at the reserves, including $600 million in unrestricted funds, by that measure, it's the richest city in the San Gabriel Valley. The San Gabriel Valley is a population of 2 million people. It's roughly half Asian Pacific Islander and roughly half Latino, right? Historically, there was a black population as well, although it's been declining. And I want to, make a special mention of that. But we also know that this was an indigenous community before City of Industry, before the, all of our cities that now exist. And water is sacred in indigenous communities, right? Our soil is sacred, right? And I just want to pay special tribute to everybody that is here because we have to take a stance. City of Industry population 300, right? All those areas. I think they have 11 freeway exits, right? 11 freeway exits. There's 3,000 businesses in City of Industry. They provide jobs for 65,000, 70,000 people, right? And I'm not against jobs and I'm not against City of Industry, but I want them to play by the rules. I want them to follow the law. If there's going to be an impact on our community and it's a risk to our public health, you need to do an environmental impact report at minimum. You need to do a better job translating, having translators available. You need to have your meetings when working people can show up, right? You need to record your meetings. You need to post your meetings online. You need to have your minutes available so we can review it. And you need to make sure that the money that you're getting is distributed back into our community. Because when they approved the battery energy storage system, they got $9 million as part of a community benefit agreement. The developer is Blackstone, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with Blackstone. Private equity hedge fund. So one of the wealthiest, financial conglomerates in the world, Blackstone, is the one that's trying to put the battery energy storage system. And keep in mind, the whole time we're there at the meeting, City of Industry says, "Oh, we're not talking about data centers. This is just a battery energy storage system." What they're doing is they're dividing these projects into little, small, tiny projects. And they're hoping that we don't show up and that we're not paying attention. Yes, at one of those meetings, the colleague right here was trying to speak, and they stopped her during her 1-minute public comment, right? All of us were given 1 minute at one of these meetings. And they said, "You can't talk about this," right? And so when we asked them, well, when can we talk about it? Because according to the Brown Act, the public comment, we're allowed to talk on any agenda or non-agenda item, and we want to make sure that you hear this before you vote on it, right? They removed me, They removed me from me. So, there's a legal strategy here. I think that we are going to be talking to some lawyers to see what we can do. But the most important thing, if you have a homeowners association, if you have a PTA group, if you're active in your city politics, if you live in one of the incorporated cities, we need them to take a stance, right? We need to reach out to Gil Cisneros, Lisa Calderon. We need to reach out to Bob Archuleta. We need to reach out to, what's her name? Linda Sanchez, right? There needs to be a moratorium until the impacts of these projects can be fully evaluated and vetted. Because if they move forward and there isn't enough water, then why should we, the taxpayers, have to subsidize the public infrastructure costs, but at the same time be burdened with the adverse impacts? Yeah, I did reach out to Hilda Solis's office. They did show up to one of the meetings. They did submit comment. But, right now, if you're going to do something that impacts the communities, during the environmental review, oftentimes the lead agency will try to get and solicit feedback, right? And I think that they're not doing it in City of Industry. And so we need to change. So I just want to take a moment. That's the end of the presentation. I'll take a few questions for those of you that are here. There's a website that we just launched. It's still getting updated. But if you want to find out more information, it's sgbpublicrecord.org. And we have some lawn signs right here. I have a colleague right here, Sophia. We have a sign-in sheet. If you guys want to sign up for our newsletter and get updates, we would love to be in contact with you. And if you want to grab a lawn sign, it's just recommended donation $5.
To make a difference, what do we do as an individual other than PTAs and officials? What can we do as people to make a difference?
So, if we're going to go the route of the CEQA, California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, when it's doing an environmental impact report, is required to weigh the cumulative environmental impacts, right? And they're also required to assess a no-build alternative, right? So if there are adverse environmental impacts, they are required per CEQA, as part of an environmental impact report, they're required to consider the possibility of not building something there, right? So why are we concerned about the zoning changes for data centers and battery energy storage system? We're concerned because now when a project goes in front of the city, if it's already zoned for it, guess what? It allows a streamlined approval, and that disadvantages us. So we would ask that would they do an environmental impact report? They're gonna argue that they're not required to do it, but we should say, you should volunteer to do it anyways. You have the money to do it, right? That's one thing. The second thing is there are significant civil rights violations, and that impacts all of us here, right? Whether you're an immigrant or not, long-term resident, we should have these things translated into languages that they are. It just pains me to think that we cannot participate meaningfully in these decisions if they are not translating and noticing properly how these things are going to be decided. And the third thing is work with your local municipal agencies and get them to submit a resolution mandating and expressing their objection, because a public agency that submits a public comment letter objecting to these substandard environmental review projects, those are public agencies that are where the City of Industry has to respond. Doesn't matter if it's mitigating negative declaration or not. Okay, what's our question? Brandon?
Back here so much to let you guys know that tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. the City of Industry is having a planning commission meeting in the morning.
So I just want to clarify, I did check their website and I didn't see the agenda posted for that, but they do have some discrepancies on their website where it's unclear. So I would double check with that. Yeah, I would double check with that. But for sure there's a meeting this Thursday, March 12th at 9 a.m. For sure there's a meeting. We should all be there.
I noticed the AMC Theater is doing very well, and so is like Round 1 and Spode Show. How are they, like, they have the right to be there, right? Like, how can they like shut down those businesses?
Well, at the mall right now, based on the Public Records Act that we received, the public records, they're gonna do a full demolition of everything at the mall, right? So that's 75 acres, I believe, yeah. So they're planning on something. They have not told us, and this is the problem. How many years have we been hearing rumors about the Puente Hills Mall? Many years. Right? This impacts us. There isn't a lot of parks in some of our communities, but the mall was one of those places where we can go and socialize. If they're gonna remove that, or if they're gonna put a data center, or whatever it is that they're proposing, we need to know. They should include it.
Good evening. Thank you for your service. Thank you all for coming here tonight. It shows our strength in our group. I appreciate it. I'm David Salcido. I am a retired police executive of 36 years. And I'd like to comment on other things that haven't been spoken about that we're going to face if this data center comes about. Our insurance rates are going to go up, residents' insurance rates. Our car insurance is going to go up. Now, the fires that occurred up north, that caused our insurance rates for our homes to go up. Hard to get insurance, right? Well, guess what? The likelihood of the hazards of this data center are great. That's going to raise our insurance rates a lot. Our taxes are going to go up. Now, the lady spoke earlier about new housing, apartments. Well, guess what? They're already planning for the people that are going to be working there. And sometimes they argue, oh, we're creating jobs. No, temporary jobs, because AI will take over those jobs. Remember that. They may say, well, the community spends more water than the location. That's a lie. That's a lie, because that water may be contaminated. We won't see it, but our children will. Now, one thing you all know about the war or the battle or the operation in Iran and the U.S. Well, guess what? That location becomes a target. Yeah. And we live right across the street from there. Yeah. So what's going to happen? You mentioned that the supervisors are aware. Where are they? They should have been here. There will be a reckoning. There will be a reckoning. These supervisors should have done more for us. We voted them in, we can put them out. But there's a chance to rectify this.
Thank you. There's some other people I want to speak. Thank you. All right, just for people that are going to speak, we want to give people, just make your comments brief. Right here, this gentleman had his hand up. And I'm going to be around afterwards. I'll take some more questions to,
This is really a great turnout. My name is Richard, anyway, I live in Hacienda Heights. And my question is, where are our politicians? Where's Palisades? Where is your state senator? Where is your state representative? Where is the city council? Right here? All the different cities?
Yes, we do have a representative from Palisades Fire, who I believe wants to share. But that's a great question. That's a great comment.
Let me have one last question. We have a huge mountain ahead of us. I've done some research on what the projections on AI is going to do for jobs. It's not going to be, they're going to take them away. The plan is thousands. If they were projecting this end of this year, so like 30 or 40% of the jobs will be eliminated. Not just in touch labor. We're talking about some kids graduating from college, no jobs. We're talking about manufacturing people, no jobs. That is why so many people are the billionaires are buying AI stock. And that's why Ed Rossi, I met the guy a long time ago, and he's shrewd. And but he's a businessman. He doesn't care about you or me. He cares about. I think he's now what do they call it? A trillionaire. When you get 100 million, you're a trillionaire. Who's there?
Yeah. $9 billion.
Together. Don't walk away and do nothing, because if you do, you don't come.
Thank you. I believe the staffer from Palisades wanted to respond.
Okay, I know this is a really passionate issue for all of us, but we're going to try to get as many people as we can to share their voice. So if you could please limit your comments to 30 seconds, a minute, we'd appreciate that. That way we can get as many of you to speak as possible. We also have the LA County Fire Department that would like to speak as well, and I'd like to get them up here. But first of all, we're going to go back to Supervisor Solis's office. They have been here. They are here every month. Full disclosure, they are here every month. So don't make this a 1 month time. Come back every month and voice your concerns. We also have Senator Archuleta's representative here. He also spoke. So our representatives are here. So let's have them hear us.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Just like to introduce myself. My name is Annette Trejo. As a staffer, I'm actually the environmental deputy for your district. So I serve as the environmental deputy for Supervisor Solis. So I do want to note some things. I want to make sure we're all on the same page. So first off, let me start with battery energy storage systems. Before tonight, I just want to see a round of hands. How many people knew what a battery energy storage system really was and how it functioned before tonight? Exactly. So it kind of mixed, right? I know I wouldn't have known if I didn't do this for a living. So essentially, what we're seeing here is they put them in packages like shipping containers. We all know what shipping containers look like, right? And we all know what a battery inside of our car looks like, right? Those are lithium-ion batteries. They don't spontaneously explode in your car. They don't spontaneously explode in a shipping container. However, this is why just at the city, I think somebody fell back there. Someone can help them out. Someone fell back there. So, just last month, I personally personally spoke on behalf of Supervisor Solis at the City of Industry City Council meeting regarding that Messini battery energy storage system. Why? Because like was just mentioned here, in the event they do have external factors impact the stability of those batteries inside and they do catch on fire, it's extremely difficult to control them. It's called thermal runaway. So when that does happen, we want to make sure that it is not near our houses, it is not near residents, and that is in an area that not only benefits our electrical grid, but is in an area that is safer for them to exist. Because the reality is that we do need them for our electrical grid. You did hear me at the city council meeting that we specifically advocated there for them not to be held near those residences. We also staunchly stood up against the fact that the city council at the City of Industry did not reach out to our residents, which were just across the street in a housing tract. Yet there were residents that attended that day that did not hear about it at all. Just like us, they never reached out to our office and let us know that this was happening. So with that, we staunchly stand against the lack of transparency, lack of engagement with the community, and certainly putting them that close to homes. So going to the data centers. We did hear about the data centers earlier. Just want to make it very clear that our office is working on actually declaring a moratorium in unincorporated Los Angeles County. That is the only jurisdiction that we have authority over. The county does not have authority over City of Industry. We are equals when it comes to land use. The only ones that do is regulations at the state level. At the state level, there's regulations, and then that could control exactly what the cities and the counties do. However, once we move forward with this motion that we are working on, which I'm sure you will all hear about, it'll place a moratorium until we can have a well thought out ordinance to actually control these data centers and regulate them, because they do take from our resources. That is what we can do. We cannot control City of Industry. That is a separate jurisdiction. I can only control what our office does. I cannot control what others do.
But I have a quick question.
Yeah, how?
You speak to your state representatives. However, there's other things we need to know. As someone mentioned earlier, there's a lack of residents in the City of Industry. So who is in City of Industry? Business owners, right? And those are the ones being impacted by those changes, as we noted at the Puente Hills Mall. So that as you start communicating, I do recommend that you start engaging people who are actually in the city, because it is difficult when you're not from that jurisdiction for them to listen to us. When we attended the city council meeting, they still approved that BESS, despite the fact that we spoke up at that actual city council meeting.
Just one last thing. Another thing that we are doing, right, just like everyone here, we talked about speaking to our state representatives. We're also talking to state representatives that are doing something at the state level. For example, Sasha Renee Perez, she's a senator in California. She's coming from Alhambra. She represents Monterey Park. And so our office is talking to her about how can we, as local jurisdictions, right, do something about data centers. And so we have to continue to talk to our state representatives so that we together, all of us, can make sure that we stay safe in our communities.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to give the fire, before we take some more comments from the audience, I'd like to get the fire department to give a couple of comments, because I believe that there was a fire at a data center in Orange County that burned for 5 days. So I would like the fire department perhaps to give us some clarification, some information from the actual fire department who would have to fight this fire.
All right, I think we're dealing with the medical, so we've got some folks coming to take care of her. Our fire marshal's on the way. He's not here yet, but he is the subject matter expert on this topic. And we do have a member of our fire prevention staff that sits on a state board, 2 state boards, and a national board with regards to fire safety and these centers. It's a hot button topic. Some of the issues are still under investigation, but I can tell you that LA County is leading the nation with regards to the fire safety. That being said, there are very valid concerns with some of the issues that have been brought forward today. And I think the best thing about our county is the diversity. And the diversity of this community has to bring some strength and unity together. It's up to you folks to create the change that is necessary here. And so that's going to require you guys to talk to your representatives, talk to your assembly members, talk to the supervisor's office, and get engaged like you're attempting to do. I think that's going to serve our community what's best in the best manner possible for our community.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We're going to have Samuel come back up again, but I think we have somebody who wants to say a few words. You gave me your name. Oh, Dr. Pedro Casas.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Pedro Antonio Casas, Colonel, United States Army, retired. I'm a licensed clinical, forensic, aeromedical psychologist. I'm going to give you a back brief, then you'll see where I'm going with this. So, whether it's my deployments to Iraq or when I served as a commander in Afghanistan, when I presented a brief to a general, whether it's a go outside the wire brief, whether it's a strategic level brief, I always presented a few courses of action. And then we grapple with what course of action we're going to go forward. If I think we're going to hit the bad guys, do we have enough to make sure that we have an 80% solution? But as a leader and as a commander, I was expected to have that way ahead. How does that relate to this issue? I wasn't aware that it was already passed a month ago. So this train has left the station, and so the challenge here is what to do about it. So number one, are there any city leaders from City of Industry here? And the answer is obviously not. So course of action number one, you vote them out. Pick someone new who just graduated college. I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican. As long as they are idealistic and they want to do what right looks like, vote the city council out. That's probably going to be the quickest way, because if not, the lawyers are going to get involved and they will stall this for years as the project goes forward. My next point, on a tangent, and I'm retired, I believe in doing what right looks like, and no, Hilda Solis is not here. This is not about having cheerleaders on her behalf. Mr. Cisneros is not here. Again, I'm happy for Mr. Cisneros. I ran against him in 24 as a retired colonel. I was running against a multimillionaire. Where is he at right now? He is at his home in Newport Beach. None of us are at thought. And where I'm going with this is leadership is about being present. Right? I only have a minute before they have the sheriffs drag me out. But my point to you is I'm running for congressman for the 38th Congressional District. I'm a Republican. I have tons of Democrats on my team. I will do what right looks like. I'm going to take this fight as I can for you. This is important. Yeah, I don't care about, I'm Republican for a few reasons. I don't care what party you are. It's about what right looks like for the population, for you all. Right, there's enough fighting in Washington. But what I do know is Miss Solis isn't here, Cisneros isn't here, Mr. Archuleta is not here. You don't need cheerleaders on their behalf. You need leaders who are present. I'm gonna excuse myself and I'll be outside, but I'm gonna do my best as a doc, and I'll present where I can on your behalf. If you need my cards, I'll be outside out of respect to the next speaker. Thank you very much. Stay close to Christ.
Thank you very much. We're going to try to get a few more comments going, but you really need to say your point and make it brief so we can get as many people to speak as possible.
Quick and to the point, whoever left their email on the sign-in sheet, if you haven't, please leave it. I will draft letters in Chinese, in Spanish, and in English that you guys can print out and sign and send to your representative. I'll make it as easy for you as possible. But I need your emails. So please put your emails on the list and I'll do that. And then I can share your emails also with Sam if you're okay with it. And Sam can send you information on what's going on, okay?
All right, I just wanted to, I'll take some more questions, but I just wanted to say real quick, the battery energy storage system is being presented as helping us meet our clean energy goals, right? Renewable energy. The battery energy storage system can only store energy for 4 hours, right? So it's gonna use whatever energy is being produced on the grid at the time, which includes natural gas. There's no guarantee that it's actually gonna reduce greenhouse gas emissions, so we have to challenge that. And I also wanted to let people know there's going to be another meeting on March 18th with the Clean Air Coalition. They are a local community-based organization. I'm going to be doing a similar presentation. I'll have a little bit more details by then. But if you want to know what you can do, right, we're going to have a petition ready at that meeting, right? We're going to make sure that we are all working together on this issue. Okay, so anybody else have any other questions?
Next Monday of the month, we'll have a copy of the petition here for you guys to see.
I encourage you to continue showing up to these meetings, very important. And yes, like she said, we will have the petition. Yes, if you come to the meeting here, the Rowland Heights Community Coordinating Council next month, which is second Monday of the month, there will be petitions available. You can also come to this meeting on March 18th. There will be petitions available. April 13th.
First, a minute at that meeting is ludicrous. You can't say what you possibly have to say. I speak a lot at my school board meetings. I'm a teacher. I highly urge every single one of you to write a personal letter to each and every council member in the city of Industry. I plan on doing that. Write to all of the people who, are in charge of that was, Archuleta, Solis, write letters. Let them know how it affects you personally. And I hear you on the petition. I'll be there to sign it.
Yeah, does somebody have their hand on that?
You guys had it for a long time.
I don't really have any questions, but I just want to add maybe something on the fire. But one of the most misunderstood things, or something that's very lacking in research right now, is how we're going to be recycling batteries in 15, 20 years. There's a lot of chemical runoff that is a byproduct of recycling those batteries, and that can leach into Chevron Park, which is right across the street from Pickle's Mall. And I think that's a very underspoken aspect of this entire operation.
And just to add to what you're saying, lithium-ion batteries, we're only recycling about 15% of all the lithium-ion batteries, which means that those lithium-ion batteries are more than likely going to end up in the landfill, and they're going to end up in our groundwater. So that mandates an environmental impact.
Excuse me, quick question. I just want to know which BESS company is currently involved, and we hopefully think this result can be changed, but if cannot, does the BESS company have a specific plan to address the lithium-ion battery fire risk?
So the developer is, well, it's known as Marici Marici Development, that's what they call the project, but the actual company is Blackstone, and they have a subsidiary which is called AYPA. And APA is not just involved in battery energy storage systems, also involved in data centers. So we have to ask ourselves if the infrastructure upgrades to our the substation, the Walnut Creek substation, which is owned by SoCal Edison, if we, the taxpayers, are subsidizing for them to profit off of our taxpayer dollars. That's not fair. It seems hardly appropriate. The developer that was at the Moss battery landing. So that's what they're going to say, but it's still a risk. A risk is a risk. I mean, what's a tolerable, acceptable level of risk for all of us that are here? I don't know. I would say zero risk, right? Zero.
My question is, we really don't need iron batteries anyway. We have solar. I thought that's what we have. Hello? Okay. We have solar. We don't need iron batteries. The only iron batteries that we need is for our homes if we have solar. That's all we need.
Yeah, well, I want to say that, so right now during the day, we're producing more energy than we can, than we're using. So a lot of the renewable energy that's being produced during the day, which is when the sun's out, actually is not being used locally. And so that's why they're suggesting the battery energy storage system. But because it can only hold energy for 4 hours, what happens in a multi-day heat wave, right? When we would need, so, and yes, it's true, there are other ways of generating energy.
That's not the point. The point is we have solar. People that do have solar, we make your money. We only can use 80% of our solar, then we send it back to Edison. So you can't say that we don't make solar energy. We have it. If everybody else has it, it'll be cheaper for everybody else.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. Yeah, thank you.
I just want to say real quick, like, after like living here for maybe like a decade or more, the issue with like Quincy Hills Mall and everything, like possibly being like turned into an AI data center is very like baffling to me because of all the memories I made with my friends and everything. And I just want to speak to people who have made memories there, and it's just it felt like
they mistreated you. And you have said so well, but I just want to mention that the city council only about 6 members, only 6 members, and they are influencing about at least 1 million surrounding neighbors in the area. And I want to say that if you go to the city council, their city council for the public can only accommodate about 50 to 60 sittings. Only 50, and they only give you 1 minute. So I will echo the lady who just shared. You write the letters because we can have a format of the letters, and everyone can write, follow the format, and send it to every one of them. Because just by 6 members, if we let the public only 50 people to sit in the city of industry, that is way little. And they kick out Samuel, and they mistreated Samuel. Last time I was there and I saw with my own eyes. So I hope that we will all support, and united we stay and divided we fall. Thank you.
Everybody here, we're not alone, because Little Data Center Monterey Park has said that they're going to support our campaign.
Hi, I'm Kimberly. I was debating last time with her. I didn't like how they censored me, and he was there to back up my rights. Yes, right? And they only give me 1 minute, and I was advocating because for the children. This is their role. If this is polluted, and once we leave this earth, who's gonna hurt it to them? They. And right now, they can't speak because they have school all the time. They don't know what's happening around them. So we have to advocate for the next generation, because once we pass away, who's gonna take it? Them. And if we're all gone, what's gonna happen to them? They're gonna hurt it into like a Mars. No water, no air, no oxygen, no jobs, I guess. And I guess they're gonna put lives over profit. So we have to fight for this.
Bomb there, the worst case, any house you cannot purchase insurance, fire insurance. For sure, you fire insurance, maybe even you can buy it, it should be outside the state. The cost maybe weighs triple, triple, maybe it's 20,000 per year.
You got another comment over here? This one?
如果你们建的这个 center， 还有那个 bomb electronic bomb， for sure you might cannot buy， 你不能买那个保险，活险。因为加州可能很多保险公司不退保，你只能到外州去买。那你的保险呢，可能是3倍、4倍，因为为什么？你看一下那个。 高山猫那个WiFi， 现在他们的 cost 平均是1万块钱一年。你想一下，在这边我们有山，也有火，还有那个bomb店，搞不好你是2万块一年，搞不好你也买不到，这才是危险，最现实的危险。
I was thinking that there is a better way also for petition. Maybe we can do like a change.org where we gather all the signatures, as many as people, maybe hopefully hitting 1 million people from all over the city residents, because this is affecting not only one city, it's practically multiple cities. So, you know, on top of course, individual petitions that we're going to file.
Yes, I agree with you. So I know that there will be an online petition, but my understanding is that the paper petition is usually considered with more weight because of an online people can make up different names and stuff like that. But we will pursue something like that.
I'd like to say something. My name's Andrea Gordon. I worked for the county for many, many years. I'm retired now. The county and the Board of Supervisors has a long, well-established history when they want to do something, to use their county council and their whole legal department, to use the intergovernmental relations sections of the Chief Executive Office, to draft legislation, to take it to Sacramento, to actively lobby when they want to make it happen. They can seek out a moratorium statewide until this can be analyzed and safely established in areas that make sense instead of densely populated residential areas like right here.
And just to add to that,
LA County, step up.
And just to add to that, part of the problem is that the battery energy storage systems, there's no regulations at the county right now about where you can site it. If the recommendation was it has to be 1,000 feet away from residences or 3,200 feet, maybe we'd be having a different conversation. They started producing the regulations 3 years ago, but they haven't finalized that. So I would like to see the county finalize that. But just to also wrap things up, I just want to say that the reason this is significant is because not only do we not have any power on the land use planning decisions in City of Industry, but we already have contaminated groundwater. Our groundwater is already contaminated due to industrial activities that operated in the past. We have a land battery smelter. We have the landfill, which was closed in 2014, but still releases methane gas emissions. We have particulate matter from all the semis that drive through this community every day. And so the city of Walnut, when they wanted to build the football stadium right there in City of Industry, they sued City of Industry. Where is Walnut today? Where is Diamond Bar? Where is West Virginia? They can do legal action, and they should, because this is one more bad planning decision on top of another. And we have to call a kettle black, right? We have to be able to say, enough. Our community deserves better.
Okay, a la casa.
Right. We, okay. The next steps, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to recap right here. Because this part closes at 9 o'clock, and these gates close at 9 o'clock, and we don't want to be trapped in here. So, we're going, a couple of things that we can do that we already said, that list that you signed in, if you gave us your email, we can draft a letter on your behalf saying that we are against these projects. We can put it in English, Mandarin, Korean, Spanish, and we can send it through the email, and you will send it off to your representative. So we'll make it easy for you. That's one step, okay? Next step is not make this a one-time stop, okay? You have to continue to put pressure on the people that can do something about it. Somebody said something about Monterey Park. They stopped it. They are a city. They have the resources to stop it. We are Rowland Heights, an unincorporated part of LA County. We are at the mercies of LA County. They seem very interested in making accommodations and listening to what we have to say. So I think we need their help. We are not an independent city. They said they're already going to do moratoriums on putting a hold on things. Let's put the pressure on that they stay by what they've just said to us today. Next month, we are here every second Monday of every month. Again, do not make this a one-time stop. The more we are here together, united, having a strong voice, the more they can hear what we're saying. And I apologize. We got a lot of people in here. We did not expect this overflow. But keep coming back. The park will close at 9 o'clock, so I would hope that you would drive safely and make your way out. They do close the gate. One gate is closed, and there's only one exit. Thank you for coming.
This presentation will be sent out to you. If you gave us your email, we will send out the information that came out in this meeting. This meeting is also available, fully recorded online with audio on our YouTube channel. And please make sure to follow us and keep up with us, because this is not the only issue affecting Rowland Heights, and will continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night. Drive.
And I bring to your attention, this is Roy Humphrey, Rowland Heights, California here. Bring to your attention that I was a principal signature guy for 2 endeavors to make Rowland Heights a city where we would have power. We wouldn't have power over City of Industry, but we would have significantly more power as far as what goes on around us and within the confines of Rowland Heights. So hey, good night.